Bangkok, Thailand, sometimes known as the City of Angels. It's the commercial and political hub of Thailand. And of course, many sites and attractions bring tourists from all around the world, from the gleaming stupas of Wat Arun to the Grand Palace, to markets, to huge shopping malls. But of course, underneath all the tourist glitz and glamour, there's also a seamy underbelly of prostitution and poverty. There are tremendous needs here in Bangkok.
Just before he went up to heaven, Jesus gave us a command. He gave us a mission. Jesus said, "Go. Go unto all the world, telling them of His love." This is our mission. This is our global mission.
Hello and welcome to Global Mission Snapshots, coming to you today from Bangkok, Thailand. Thailand, of course, is a Buddhist country, and 95% of the people here practice what is known as Theravada Buddhism. And it's been said that Buddhism is not so much a religion as a way of life. It permeates the way people think, the way they act, the way they structure their lives, their worldview. Thailand is a very tolerant nation, and there are many different religions, perhaps a million Muslims, 250,000 Christians, there are Sikhs, there are Hindus and others. Almost 100 years ago, the Seventh-day Adventist movement began here in 1919 with 2 missionaries, and the church has grown to some 14,000 members. But that's 14,000 among some 66 million people. And most of those Adventist believers have come from minority tribal groups, a tremendous mission challenge. And as you think about those numbers, let's travel to the country of Russia to visit a humble Seventh-day Adventist church.
The city of Kazan is considered Russia's 3rd capital and the only sports capital of the country. This multi-ethnic city is honored by UNESCO and famous for Muslims and Christians living side by side in peace. This is a territory where beautiful mosques were erected. There are approximately 55 magnificent buildings. One of them is the Kul Sharif that sits inside of the Kremlin walls. The Tatarstan people here are accustomed to such sights of grandeur. But as they come into the rented space of a Seventh-day Adventist church, the people find a very different picture. The members of this simple church travel from far to reach this location. When they come, they are welcomed into the warm building and gladly worship together. Here they sing hymns to praise God and spend quality time in groups, examining the quarterly Sabbath school lesson. They are treated to choir music, and they pray with one another. The children also have a space for themselves to learn the precious life lessons of the Bible. Although just a table in a cluttered room, they have a chance to interact and build character here. There is room for all ages in this Adventist community. Today, Albina is visiting the church again. She was invited by her friend Timur. Timur believes the Bible has well outlined how we should conduct ourselves, and he isn't afraid to live out his conviction.
I think that people can see in my life the difference from others. Most of the people smoke and drink and do other bad things. So when they see that I don't do such things, they begin to ask why I am different and ask questions about the church that has made a difference in my life.
Timur's deportment sparked interest in Albina, who was searching for answers. Through his invitation, she began attending this church.
I like coming to this church because I love to sing and I like to pray as well. Plus, there are a lot of kind and friendly people here.
Albina plans to keep coming to church and has made known her desire to be baptized. As the church invites guests and studies the Bible with them, they are faced with a challenge.
As you can see, there are many people in this hall. Many people are sitting outside. When we invite new people to study the Bible, we have to give the study right here, in this crowded room among all these old things. That's why we need a new building. Of course, we do outreach work outside the church, distributing literature and inviting people. But we also need to do some work inside the church.
The leased apartment they are using is one of 3 churches in the city. Because 2 of the churches are rented, there is no guarantee that they can continue using this space indefinitely. In answer to these challenges, the pastors have acquired land in a prime location to hold services near the center of town and close to public transport.
We chose this place because there is a metro. Also, there is a bus stop and train station. We are planning to build a church here and to hold different evangelistic programs and social programs to this new community.
Now the members are praying for the funds to start building. The leaders here have big plans for the new church. This will also be a center of influence with many initiatives to connect with the community. Please pray that God will both establish this church physically and spiritually.
This quarter's 13th Sabbath offering will help fund a new church for Kazan, as well as many other projects that we'll learn about later in the program. But next up, the amazing story of Pastor Monteiro, jailed in Togo. Rick Kajira has that story. Rick?
Thank you, Gary. Our guest today is Pastor Antonio Monteiro, who has been serving in the West Central Africa Division of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Seventh-day Adventists around the world have been praying for him because Pastor Monteiro spent nearly 2 years in prison. He was falsely accused of a crime that he didn't commit, but they still put him in jail. There was no trial. And so Seventh-day Adventists around the world prayed for him, and recently he was released, and he's talking with us today. Pastor Monteiro, it's very good to have you here.
Obrigado.
Many people don't know your story. Can you briefly tell us, how did you end up in prison?
Dia recebi no meu escritório rapaz que quis falar comigo.
One day I received in my office a man who wanted to talk to me. He came in just to speak with me. When he entered my office, he said he needed money since he did not work. He also said he needed food. I asked him if he was a Seventh-day Adventist. He said, "Yes, I am a Seventh-day Adventist. I go to church." So I presented him to the elders for them to take care of this man. It was only 3 months later that I found out the elders of the church did not help him. They already knew this man and his history and decided not to give him any money. He later visited my office a couple more times and told me about Bruno Oma, a man that could help him to purchase a car. So I spoke with Bruno Oma on the phone in behalf of this man, and Bruno told me that if he is able to help out, he would do it. So the man left my office and called a couple of days later to inquire about Bruno Oma and the help he hoped to receive from him. So I told him that Bruno had not called yet. So the man hung up, and I did not see him again until the 13th of May. He came one more time to speak with me, but I was extremely busy and could not see him. Then on the 15th of May, the police came to me and detained me. As I entered the police station, I saw this man in cuffs. They asked me if I knew this man, and I answered, "Yes, I know this man." Then the police officers informed me of the accusation the man made. The man said that I ordered him to bring fresh blood for some secret sacrificial rituals in the Seventh-day Adventist Church. I answered that I had never ordered such a thing, and that he couldn't even have approached me about something like this. This was definitely something staged, and that someone used this man to incriminate me and to accuse Bruno Oma as well. That's what we believe. Nothing could be proved then, and we were imprisoned without evidence and without proper explanation. That's a summary of what forced me into prison.
So, from that time that you were in prison, you were not released until nearly 2 years later. When you first went there, how did you feel about your situation? Did you have any idea that it would be as long as it was?
Sim, quando fui levado à prisão.
When I was taken to prison on March 28, 2012, when I entered prison, I saw that this was a totally different world. There were 2,000 people inside. The situation was chaotic, to say the least. The place was degraded, a terrifying place. But what could I do? I was sentenced to be here. So I spent the first night in a room with 82 other people. It was a very difficult situation. I did not sleep. The next day they sent me to a room with 27 other people. I had a bit more room then. But there were a lot of people everywhere, and I spent this long period in jail. Actually, I never expected to stay there for so long. Initially, I thought it was only going to be a couple of days. The lawyer also encouraged me that it wasn't going to be long and that they would release me. Also, I couldn't believe that they would put me as an innocent person in prison. I thought it would take a couple of days for them to sort out the facts, acquire more evidence, talk to other witnesses, and resolve this. But as it ends up, I was there 22 long months.
Quando passei 22 longos meses.
Now, at what point did other prisoners learn that you were a pastor?
Quando cheguei na prisão, na primeira noite,
when I arrived in prison, even the first night, the whole prison already knew that a Seventh-day Adventist pastor had arrived there. I spent the night with 82 people, and the next night everyone in the prison cell knew that I was a pastor. So 2 days later, they came to speak to me and asked me if I would preach in our prison cell on Tuesdays. So I tested them by saying, "No, I came here as a criminal. How can you ask me to preach?" To that they replied, "You have to preach to us. We know you now. We have seen you, and you are a man of God. So please, we want you to preach here on Tuesdays." In this manner, they recognized my vocation from the first days. And everyone respected me and protected me there because they knew I was a pastor. And God helped me to live there and to help some of them without any problems.
Viver aí, ajudar uns e outros sem problemas.
I'm curious, what was your first sermon about in that prison?
Falar para prisioneiros é algo.
To speak to prisoners is something difficult because they are very sensitive people. One needs to carefully select and consider the topics for a sermon. You don't want to hurt the delicate feelings of anyone. My first sermon came from Isaiah 60, verses 1 through 3. It talks about this Christ that came to set the captives free and set prisoners at liberty. It was along the lines that I directed my talk with those prisoners. Christ came to free us, and we should feel at liberty, spiritually speaking. The physical liberty would come later as time passed by. But this was the topic of my first sermon.
Foi o meu primeiro sermão.
Pastor Monteiro, thank you very much for being with us. And for you viewers at home, Pastor Monteiro has been through a difficult time, but thanks to your prayers, he is now with us today. But there are others, people who are with him, but people around the world who are in prison or suffering for their faith. Please pray for those who go through hardships for what they believe in.
Thanks, Rick. That was just part one of Pastor Monteiro's story. Stay tuned to future programs to hear and learn more about Pastor Monteiro. We're going to take a short break, but we'll be right back. Welcome back to our 360-degree view of the world. Coming up next is a story of a global mission pioneer named Derek. And we're traveling to the other side of the planet where Earley Simon is talking with Derek. Over to you, Earley.
Thanks. We're here in South Zambia, and today we're going to be speaking with a global mission pioneer. These are one of the most exciting people you'll meet. His name is Derek. He's been working in Jinkoya. Welcome, Derek.
Yeah, welcome, sir. Thank you, sir.
And Derek, what is it to be a global mission pioneer?
A global mission pioneer is to go in an entered area and plant churches, Seventh-day Adventist church, where there's no SDA existence. We go in that area where there's no SDA existence. Yes.
And why have you chosen to be a global mission pioneer?
I have chosen this work because I've seen the greatest need of those people who have not received the Christ. In that area where I am, there is this church, Church of Christ. It's a Church of Christ occupied territory, whereby no SDA church is planted there. Therefore, it grieved me to see an area where Christ has not received in a normal way. Mm-hmm. So that's why I've been encouraged to go there. I've encouraged myself to go there and work here as a pioneer.
Mm-hmm. And what methods do you use to share the gospel of Christ?
To share the gospel message, I use some tracts, Voice of Prophets tracts, which I distribute to those people nearby, wherever I go. Secondary, I just use Bible studies, Mary Bible. Mm-hmm. There are two ways of conducting reaching those people. First, we socialize with them, we be common or we be well known to them, then sending tracts to them, then answering questions. After another method is to go direct and speak with that person with a Bible.
So Derek, as you work as a global mission pioneer,
yes,
do you work by yourself?
I work by myself, but with my wife.
So you bring your wife along?
Yes, I take with my wife.
And do you have any kids?
Yes, I have kids. I have eight kids.
8 kids?
8, yes.
Mm-hmm.
8
so you work as a global mission pioneer with your wife, but you still have 8 kids to support back home.
Yes, I have to sponsor my children to go to school. This is the work which I'm doing even now. Mm-hmm. Yes, I have that burden. So I can't leave it, even though I had such difficulties of going into the field as a pioneer, but I can't because I know how greatest the work is. People are dying without knowing God, so it grieved me seriously. That's what I tried. The other side, I support my children. The other side, in some ways, I go as a pioneer. That's what I'm doing, yes, sir.
And God has always provided for you, so.
Yes, God did not let me down. I tried by all means, even though there are some areas of failures, but I succeeded in some areas. I succeeded, yes.
There's a part of your story where you were working as a global mission pioneer.
Yes.
But then your contract ended, but there was still work to do. What happened then?
Yes, during those years where I was on self-supporting, I used mostly in the rain season. I come back to where I was born in my native area in Monteiro. After the rain season, then again I go there, I work. Rain season comes, I come back and have something to raise to go to take that to that place.
So when you say that you're self-supporting, that makes it sound like, oh, okay, that's no big deal. But in reality, we know that you were going, stopping your work, going farming, earning your money with very hard work, bringing those funds back so that you can continue working, taking the message of Jesus in those remote areas.
Yes, during those years when I was not supported, but now I'm being supported.
You are?
Yes.
Good, so you're being supported again.
Yes. Yes.
How do you reach the place where you're now working as a global mission pioneer?
Yes, we sometimes from Chinkoy up to just almost 15 kilometers, we use a bicycle. Then after that 15 kilometers, we leave the bicycle and move on foot, climbing the hills.
So even the bicycle won't go?
We can't.
It can't reach?
No vehicle, no Honda, no bicycle can go through. It's in the high mountains, going up and down. Yes.
So you put your backpack on and you hike all the way to the village?
Yes, I leave the bicycle to someone who are well known to me, then I go on foot.
So if there's one global mission pioneer that's really out there, that would be you?
In that area, we need so many pioneers. Only that there are some... We are some failures. We are supposed to have 4 or 5 pioneers to cover that area.
Wow.
Yes.
So we need more pioneers.
Yes, we need more pioneers.
And you know that the World Church, there are many people who have been praying for your work and who have also supported pioneers. But we need even more pioneers, more literature, I imagine. If you could leave a message to the people who have supported your work, their prayers or their donations, what would you tell them?
Those people, to encourage the people who are supporting pioneers, I still encourage them to continue supporting because it's a wide area. Maybe we can cover that area maybe 4 to 5 years, not less than those years. We can't. It's an area where no vehicle can pass. It's only by physical. So it needs supporting, so I'm encouraging well-wishers to support to ever support, to continue supporting us.
I'm personally very encouraged by the work that global mission pioneers like yourself do.
Yeah.
You know, may God continue to bless you.
Thank you, sir. May God bless you also.
Thanks, Yarli. I just love to hear stories about global mission pioneers. Let's continue to pray for Derek and other pioneers working around the world. This quarter, our 13th Sabbath offerings are going to help support projects in the Euro-Asian region of the world. There's tremendous needs in there, and if you want to learn more about the projects, you can go to our website at adventistmission.org. Let's visit 2 of the schools in the country of Ukraine that will benefit from this quarter's offering.
Lviv is a city in western Ukraine that once was a major population center for business and culture. Now Lviv is full of history, long-standing buildings, and sites that journey your mind many hundreds of years back. Lviv is also known for its many institutions of education, but until recently, it never had an Adventist school. It all started with the family of Alexander, who now is the principal of Lviv Adventist School. He and his wife would homeschool his 2 children and a friend. This was a nice little classroom at home, but the children grew lonely and wished for a Christian school and friends to play with. They soon decided to pray and ask their Heavenly Father. They prayed that God would provide them a school and many children to attend. Little did they know that this was no small request. Coincidentally, the same prayer was also in the heart of local conference administrators. And at the right time, Alexander was asked to start an Adventist school in this region. The leaders quickly realized that they needed a building for the school. So Alexander began to rally church members to pray for God's provision. Then conference administrators decided to move out of their conference building and donate it to become Lviv's first Seventh-day Adventist school. Everything happened so quickly, the children in the community were invited to attend, and at the turn of the year, the new school was opened. Here in Lviv Adventist School, the children learn their subjects with a wholesome approach. They gather each morning to hear Bible stories, sing songs, and pray that God will bless them to grow as fruitful people. In addition to regular classes, the children here have a chance to learn many different subjects like English, music, physical education, and they eat daily meals together. Now Lviv's leaders are praying again. They are asking God for another miracle. The children are growing, but want to continue studying here. There are also other children who want to enroll. There is only one solution: to acquire more space and extend the grades offered. Lviv Adventist is currently a primary school, and the goal is to purchase a plot of land and build rooms for secondary classes. But how can they raise the funds?
It's important to remember that this school began with prayer, and we continue to pray that the Lord will pave the way for this institution to expand.
Prayer accomplishes much. Will you join this group in prayer and support of these projects? Beautiful children, sponge-like minds, and amazing parents and teachers. Here in Vinnytsia, Ukraine, a Seventh-day Adventist kindergarten and primary school were established to train these eager minds. The students come to learn from books, but they also get to observe parents and teachers who go beyond their call of duty. In late 2012, the Vinnytsia Adventist School started teaching in temporary rooms at the local Adventist church. This initiative was so successful that not much later the interest was overwhelming, and the school staff had no choice but to purchase a new location. An unfinished building sat on the property, and it was initially designed to be a school. But there was so much to be done. Without resources or funds, the church called on their pastors for help. And they came, 40 plus of them, to continue construction of the new school building. After the pastor's several weeks of work, the parents and teachers decided that it was their turn to build. So they did, and they plan to continue on and off until the building is finished. Every week, parents and teachers leave their regular work for an entire day to join hands in giving their children the best education they can have. And you know, the children understand it. They see the effort put forth, and they learn the value of service. There is one student who is especially excited for the new building. Her name is Dasha. She is currently attending Vinnytsia Adventist School, but this is the highest grade the school currently offers. Dasha deeply loves the school here, and she does not want to have to move.
I really like the respect everyone shares for Jesus and the positive attitude of everyone here. I also like the way they teach the material and the classes here at school.
Dasha's parents aren't Christians, but they are also excited about the opportunity for their daughter to continue studying here. This institution has changed Dasha's life. Before coming here, she faced a lot of hardship in public schools.
Kids don't feel comfortable in public school, and they desire to study in Adventist school. Although there are a lot of qualified teachers in public school, oftentimes they don't share kids' religious worldview, so they try to twist them and try to get them to believe very differently. Plus, even the little ones are forced to come to school on Saturday and have to explain themselves if they don't.
The school administration is also searching for government accreditation. The only missing element now is the new location. Please pray for Vinitsa's move and expansion. This quarter, your 13 Sabbath offering will support the construction of the church in Kazan, new schools in Vinitsa and Cherkasy in Ukraine. It will also expand schools in Lviv and Dnipropetrovsk and sponsor a center of influence in Belarus. It's through your prayers and financial support that projects like these continue to succeed.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's program, and I hope you've been inspired and your hearts have been touched by the stories that you've seen and heard from Russia to Togo to global mission pioneers working on the continent of Africa. So many people in so many circumstances and challenging areas are making a difference by sharing the love of Jesus Christ. If you live in North America, we'd like to give you a free gift. It's a DVD full of global mission pioneer stories. Stories of lay people starting new congregations in challenging circumstances all around the world will touch your hearts. If you'd like a free copy, just call the toll-free number on your screens right now, or at any time you can visit our website at adventistmission.org. And thank you so much for your continuing financial and prayerful support of Global Mission. It does make a difference. And I hope you can join me next time right here on Global Mission Snapshots.